well, who here likes video games? Okay, so it's like, okay, so that's that, right? What if I told you that there's something that has a little bit of both? Esports. Short for electronic sports. It is professional competitive gaming. Now, in the last few decades, esports has been the newest trend in the competitive entertainment business. The need to play, the urge to be competitive, that's what the driving force is for esports and what's given us notoriety within the last few years. And it's a fairly recent facet in the gaming industry, and its history is very brief within the last, only, what, 20 years? As of today, though, esports has like organizations and foundations that sponsor the players, as well as fund the venues for the annual tournaments. Now, these players, if they win first prize in these tournaments, they can win up to what, like 6 figures in value of money. It's fairly decent. And actually, colleges have even considered this so-called profession. They've actually started taking it seriously. And all this is stemmed from the drive for wanting to be competitive. All of it straight from the lowest beginnings. As I said before, the urge, the drive to be competitive in playing is inherent within us. Like I bet you that most of us here when we were younger, we all played like a video game or a board game or a party game together, just to pass the time. Games like Mario Party or Mario Kart, Fusion Frenzy, etc. And interestingly, at the time, a lot of the developers were catering towards this party game demographic. But the ironic part is that because they were catering towards this party game demographic, is just that these games were inherently competitive. I mean, think about it. Take, for example, COMM. It was arguably the first video game ever created, and it's by design is competitive. You have 2 players, and you have to match them against each other, and they have to compete to win. I mean, not by design. It's inherent within it. It is competitive. I mean, well, isn't it the same for sports though? You think about it, like how basketball and football and baseball how started out. They started as games. People wanted to play together. And when the dawn of the internet came out, you know, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, people could do just that. One of the first genres, like first-person shooters like Quake, Counter-Strike, Halo, they got this innovative idea where you could play with or against someone from anywhere at any time, which was very innovative. And this is stemming from the idea that people wanted to play together. People wanted to be competitive. Nowadays, you have these crazy genres like multiplayer online battle arenas, MOBAs, games like Dota 2, League of Legends that exploit that urge, that need to be competitive to addicting levels. People have sink hundreds of hours into these games, and this is all the driving force from that need to play, that need to be competitive. And so, well, the beginning of esports started out as a grassroots. People just got together. People just came together and started playing around, just having fun with the video game. But there were no rules, there were no regulations. There was certainly not even a career. It was just playing a game. And then so eventually, I mean, as people started playing the games more and more competitively, like genres like the fighting games like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Super Smash Bros. Started getting a system. They started moving these party tournaments into more regulated venues, like small and local venues in like small towns, rec centers, and etc. But it was still not very refined. They still didn't have enough regulations and formalities to get the competition, like to make the competition actually formal. I mean, like the prizes were just inexpensive trinkets, and really the only incentive were like what the challenges of other players and the prestige. But then, in 2002, an organization kickstarted the competitive industry into the limelight. A quote from the 2013 article from IDNI.com said that Major League Gaming, or MLG, launched in 2002 and is now the largest and most successful of the esports leagues, featuring numerous games in a variety of genres, from shooters to RTS, and offering lavish prize pools. Now, at this point, MLG started funding and backing what was once the underground gaming world. And at this point, games were starting to be taken seriously. People started taking seriously. And Devin Leonard, the senior writer from Fortune magazine, interviewed the founders of MLG, and then he quoted in an article, and he said, perhaps the biggest reason for Major League Gaming is that gaming's success is that it allows its fans to become stars. That means the gamers were introduced into a larger environment, and then so at this point the media started to take notice of this weird sports-ish phenomenon, and so not soon afterwards, big companies from the tech industry started getting involved. Now, in esports nowadays, after this whole whirlwind of sponsorships and money, now it's a global powerhouse. It's got great influence over the game development as well as the entertainment industries. Organizations from around the world have hosted venues as well as streamed them online for the whole world to see. And now the media has recognized esports as a global powerhouse. This leads me to an article from the New Yorker, 2014 article. It said that in July, ESPN2 aired a half-hour game called Defense of the Ancients, or Dota 2, thereby enraging the football fans and basketball fans who would have preferred round-the-clock speculation about off-season roster moves, and who vented on Twitter. Meanwhile, the winners of the Dota 2 tournament took home a total of $5 million. Tournaments and events like EVO and Global StarCraft 2 League, Apex, and others, at this point they become so common, they're just as common as like stadiums to other respective sports. It's become so prevalent that even colleges have started taking consideration on whether esports should be a profession. A 2014 report from NPR.org stated that a private university in Chicago has become the first in the country to make video games a varsity sport. Hey, think about it, you know? Sports as an actual, esports as an actual sport, you want to start considering it? I mean, go figure, you know. Making video games, playing video games for a living, that's something. And so, in any case, esports is a fairly new trend in the gaming industry, but it has taken it by storm. I mean, who knows what the future holds for esports? I mean, nobody really expected that it would blow up so big so recently. But isn't that how like sports started out? I mean, baseball, football, basketball. I mean, they started as games, and look at that. It's a profession. It's a sport. It's a culture. And it all stems back from the idea that we inherently want to play games. We want to be competitive. So all we have to do is play games.